Hello, this is MTG for the Lols, and this is my deck tech for my homebrew red-green aggro. First off, for the land base, I have two Kessig Wolf runs. Those are great just because a lot of my creatures, they don't really matter if they die, so I can just pump them up momentarily to get that extra damage through and things like that. I play 10 mountains. That's because most of my deck happens to be red. It's pretty much just red with a tiny bit of green thrown in. It's not really that great, but I did go 2-2 at game day, so that made me pretty happy and gave me a little more confidence about the deck. But yeah, anyways, I'm also playing 4 Rootbound Crags right there. Those are really nice because the deck is pretty much red with green splash, and that pretty much, it really helps with playing strangleroot geists and things like that, and throwing the last troll because I don't usually get too many forests. I play 6 forests just because I don't have very much green in my deck, and yeah. And then I play 3 evolving wilds. These are great for pulling forests. Sometimes sometimes I had to use them to pull mountains, but that's not usually very common. Usually I end up with mountains and I have to pull for forests. And that's my land base. And now on to my creature base. Alright. Starting off with the 1-drops, I only have one of them, and it's Young Wolf. And these are great just because they're 1-drop. You can start swinging out of the gate with them, and they have Undying, so you don't really care if they die early. They're just really nice. Strangleroot Geist, they're really nice. I love that they have haste and Undying. I destroyed a Geist deck with this. He had Grafdigger's Cage, so I was kind of afraid, but he didn't really pull out any creatures because he kind of got mana screwed, and I Galvanic Blasted his Thalia, which was pretty much his only creature, and I just pounded him down with this because they're so fast and they just dominate. Stormblood Berserker is just amazing because I can knock him down with Strangleroot Geist or Young Wolf, and then if that doesn't work, I can always Galvanic Blast them and still get the Bloodthirst. Also, it's really great against Geist decks because they don't usually play a lot of creatures, so they generally won't have 2 creatures just open to block you, so you'll get that damage through. Chandra is Phoenix. That's just an amazing card. I love it because you can recur it. It's great for end of turn, or end of their turn, Galvanic Blast or Incinerate them. I did that a couple times, and it's really funny because it just baffles people and it's super annoying. For my 4-drops, I have sort of, you can't really see it that well, but it's a Hero of Oxford Ridge. I would love to have more of them, but they're super hard to find. Nobody really has them, or at least they're not for trade. And I just love it because Battle Cry, it can get you a fast win, and it has haste, and that's really nice. And also, it's great against token decks when they don't have any Honor of the Peers or Intangible Virtues or things like that out, because they can't block. Hellrider, I really didn't want to put this in, but I seem to have misplaced one of my Stormblood Berserkers, so I just had to throw this in to make it 60 cards. I would prefer this to be a Hero of Oxford Ridge, but like I said, nobody really has them. And then lastly, I have Thrun the Last Troll, and my friend actually convinced me to put this in. I wasn't too sure about it, but it actually ended up winning me a game because he's just, you can't counter him, you can't target him, and he's unstoppable, so that was cool. I'm glad I listened to my friend. And then on to spells and artifacts. Right off the bat, I play 4 Galvanic Blasts. I'm not really sure why, because I don't play enough artifacts to even trigger the metalcraft at all, but I don't know, I just decided to play galvanic blast instead of shocks. I like the artwork more too. Then I have 4 incinerates, excuse me, and those are great just for anti-regen and things like that, and they're super annoying. Yeah. Brimstone volleys, these work really well in my deck. Basically I can send in people, or not people, creatures like Young Wolf or Strangleroot Geist, because I don't really care if they die, because they'll recur and get stronger, and then I can still activate the Morbid because they touched the graveyard and like slam them in the face for 5. It's really awesome. Play 4 Volt Charges, those are also really great. They work with Young Wolf, and they work with Strangleroot Geist, sort of, and they also work really well with Stormblood Berserker. In one game, I got Stormblood Berserker to have 5 +1/+1 counters, I think, because of Volt Charge. I mean, it was just amazing, and they really couldn't stop it. And yeah, I don't know, it just works really well with Undying and with Bloodthirst. And then lastly, for artifacts, I have 2 swords. Alright, so sorry for that cutout, my camera ran out of memory, but anyways, for artifacts I have 2 swords of Feast and Famine. And these are great just because they can untap all your lands and leave you open for burn spells on the opponent's creatures at any time. Also, it leaves you really open for Brimstone Volley if they're attacking you and you're going to block some. And they also gives you a little card advantage. I don't really worry about that until you have to discard a card, but it's not that big of a deal. Mostly I just use it for the untapping of lands. I would love to have Swords of Feast and Famine, but those are really expensive right now because the price shot up and I can't really get a hold of those, but I would prefer to play them. And that is my red-green homebrew aggro deck tech. It's been MTG for lols, and thanks for watching.